Kind of a weird and blustery day today. Thought I'd sit down rather than walk around and move the camera a lot. So I've been doing the part-time thing for a few weeks now and starting to kind of evaluate, how am I doing? Initially, when you stop working so much, it feels a little like a vacation. You have just more time and it just feels good. But after a while, it starts to feel a little bit weird. There's just a big lack of routine or any sort of structure in your day. So that's one thing I've been working on, is a little bit of a routine. Try to get up at the same time, try to be a little bit productive before I just sit down and start watching YouTube videos, things like that. It's funny, even though, I'm not going to get in trouble or anything, there's this tremendous amount of guilt about sleeping in or not being productive. I think it's just that we're programmed to be productive. We have a certain amount of time that we're supposed to dedicate to some sort of system or company or something. And when you're not doing that, it feels a little off. So I've been getting up at the same time every day, not beating myself up too bad if I sleep in a little bit now and then. Been going for a walk every day. I've been, meditating every day, stuff like that. I'd mentioned I have lists of creative things I want to do, and I've been kind of reviewing those and going over those, different things that are interesting to me or things I want to pursue. Some of them feel very, very doable. Some of them feel a little bit pie in the sky. Like one thing I want to do is I want to write more music. I haven't really played out in front of people in years, and I don't know if that's necessarily the goal, but it would just be nice to kind of get back to that. Another idea I had was reading tarot cards. They're something that I like to play with now and again for myself, but I haven't done a lot of it for other people. But I thought, how cool would that be to just kind of go to either a market or a festival or whatever, just set up a table and just kind of see what happens. I'm not like a super spiritual person or anything like that. I don't prescribe to a lot of that, but I do like kind of spooky and creepy things. The magic with tarot cards is kind of the whole factorial thing. I don't know if you've ever heard how many ways there are to arrange a deck of cards. A normal deck of cards has 52 cards in it, and if you count all the ways there are to arrange those 52 cards, the way you would do that is 52 times 51 times 50 all the way down. That's called a factorial. But basically that number you end up with is enormous. It is absurdly big. The kind of big, like if you started at the beginning of the universe and shuffled the cards every second, you still would be nowhere close to the number of ways there are to arrange those 52 cards. Now I think a tarot deck is 78 cards, so even more permutations of ways to arrange it. So every time you shuffle a deck of tarot cards, that is your shuffle. That is absolutely unique to you. And while that's not necessarily spiritual or magical, it is pretty neat. So anyway, I've been kind of reevaluating, what do I want to do? How do I want to spend my time? And, getting back to that guilt, trying not to focus on the making money part of it. These things don't necessarily need to be productive financially. More importantly is just the productive personally. And I've said it before that, like professional musicians or professional filmmakers, as far as the frequency of their output, like a director will make a movie every year or so. You know what I mean? It's not like they're making something every week or every month. And I don't know why I beat myself up about not making something all the time. It's just unrealistically ambitious, I think. So I'm still very much in the evaluation, pulling threads phase of things. Next week I'm going to go to the beach for a couple of days and hang out there. So we'll see what kind of creativity gets stirred up. Well, anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas. Leave me a comment. And if these are your glasses, you left them at the park.